How's it going? Happy Monday, everyone. Almost 12:01. Let's see. Today's theme is mindfulness, and let's see. The way I'm sort of coming to this experience today is I've been spending a lot of my life energy trying to get insurance coverage up and running for certain ketamine treatments at the clinic. And we're talking Medicare and other commercial carriers, and pretty much every step of the way, I've been sort of living Murphy's Law. Like, you name it, every possible thing, every problem that I think I'm solving results in another thing where it's like, oh, gee, that hasn't happened before. I wonder what's going on with that software, or why Medicare, that's unusual that they have, an issue with credentialing this, that, or the other thing. And yeah, I've been watching myself go through this, and many times a day over the last several weeks, I will bump into this situation where even the languaging that I'm using, right, where I'm saying something's gone wrong, or it's Murphy's Law, meaning if it can go wrong, then it's going to happen. And of course, it's happening to me because, if it were just, I don't know why, like existentially, things just never happen just really smoothly. It's like you really got to fight for every inch to make this thing happen. And I just notice the constant pull of my mind into this right wrong style of thinking. And so I thought today it'd be interesting to explore like what actually happens when we go through situations that don't work out the way that we want them to, and then what is that part of the mind and our consciousness that has the ability to notice that and then sort of pull us back out of it. So to lead us into this, here's one of my favorite people on planet Earth, Byron Katie. And she says, I am a lover of what is, not because I'm a spiritual person, but because it hurts when I argue with reality. And so I think, that really holds true for, gosh, certainly the stuff I'm going through, which a lot of it is just bureaucracy and mechanics and things like that. When I get into the mode of arguing with like, this shouldn't be happening, or this is a problem that this is happening, it hurts. I get upset. I get fixated on all the problem things. Whereas if I can just drop into it and say, huh, interesting. Now this, oh, there's a yet another phone call I need to make in order to solve this issue, then it all just, flows much more easily. Mm. So sorry, I'm just distracted. Someone's trying to message me here. Mm. Okay. So back to this idea of like good, bad, right, wrong, positive, negative. These are sort of moralistic judgments that pop up really naturally for us, and they, in my experience, are really the sort of buying into those narratives. That's the root of the pain that we run into. So the antidote to that is this thing called mindfulness that we practice. So being able to just be with whatever's happening. So paying specific, explicit attention to the mechanics of the mind as we're going through something like that. And then just being able to tease apart, oh, this is the belief that's stimulating the pain. This is the part where I'm telling myself they shouldn't be doing this, or this should be different than it is. And if I can just drop my attachment to that moralistic judgment in that moment, things start flowing again. So yeah, so let's try that out. So start by closing your eyes. Let's take a moment here to and okay. Yes, just feeling distracted by some messages here. So yeah, just noting breath coming and going, choosing to slow down so that we can pick up the nuances and the little details that when we're really busy and moving quickly, we oftentimes miss them. I'm setting the intention to just be curious today. Just be curious and explore just the way the mind works. Quickly we jump into this kind of moralistic, right, wrong, good, bad thinking. Again, it's not a problem. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just when we notice it, we can we can course correct and we can drop back into a more of a flow with life and how things are going. So using the mind and memory, see if you can bring to mind a situation in which things there's a problem. Maybe it was a interaction with someone. Maybe it has to do with not having enough money, or trying to solve a problem, kind of like what I've been doing. Where you're calling health insurance and you're trying to sort things out, and there's 800 numbers and phone trees, and whatever your problem is, let's intentionally go there. Drop into it for a moment, like really experience and feel the situation. Notice the impact that the problem is having on you physically, emotionally, mentally. Get a little bit of an adrenaline rush, and is really moving quickly, jumping to thoughts and beliefs about how this always happens, or what they should be doing that they're not doing. Just really take a moment to really inhabit the problem, like live it. And then let's do what Byron Katie suggests, which is to become curious about what is. So notice that there's a difference between what the mind was saying should be happening versus what is actually happening in that scenario. They shouldn't be saying that. They should be kinder. They should fill in the blank. So just notice the space between those two. One is what the mind is telling us should be happening, and then the other is the lived experience of what is actually happening. In that space is where the problem lives. That's the issue. Life is different than I'm telling myself it should be. See if you can make space for that. So make space for the tension between those two. It's almost just like an acknowledgement of like, yeah, I get it. I've been telling myself that this should be happening, but something else is happening. Can you make space for that? We can make space for it just by tolerating it. It can be sort of a begrudging, yeah, but, or as Katie would say, sort of become a lover of what is, like really lean into what's actually happening, embrace it fully, and then notice what happens to the sense of the problem. When we align ourselves with what's actually happening, usually the problem starts to fade. The problem really was just a fantasy anyway. It was an idea that said something else should be happening than what is happening right now. Really lean into and open up to what is happening. Meaning, what is that person saying? What are they not doing that you told yourself earlier they should be doing? And it just turns into, yeah, this is the new situation. It's different than I thought it was going to be. And now what? Do I engage with this wholeheartedly? See if you can become a lover of what is. And again, we're leaning into this not because we're telling ourselves that's what a spiritual person would do, or again, we're ironically sort of sidestepping this whole moralistic idea of what the reasons for why we should be doing it. But it's really just noticing that when we align ourselves with what is happening and can really relate to it in a very straightforward manner, it hurts less frustration, less anguish. This is different than the mind said it should be, and I'm in all the way. So now I'm going to address this thing that's in front of me, bring all my resources and values to the table, and engage with this in a way that's helpful and productive. If you notice any resistance to that, again, I call this the yeah, but. Yeah, but they shouldn't be saying that, or yeah, but they shouldn't be doing those things. Any of that kind of stuff, again, is just see it for what it is, and just realize that that's the space between what we're telling ourselves should be happening versus what is happening. And then just really familiarize yourself with the pain that ensues from holding on to this yeah, but. And take a deep breath in through the nose, long, slow exhale through the mouth, just shaking off whatever remnants there are from this frustration or this situation. Hold the exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Another deep inhale through the nose. Exhale, loosen your jaw, your neck, your shoulders, your hands, letting it go. Hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Open your eyes. Yep. So I think the reminder for today is seeing if you can stay connected to loving what is rather than what the mind is telling you should have been or could have been. So hope that was helpful. Laura, I don't know if Laura's still on. Sorry, I saw that you were having audio issues. I'm happy to stick around and try to solve them with you if you're still there. Thank you, everyone. Take care.